Hey, what's going on? Of course, to all of my freaks and geeks out there, it is me, Quita, aka Malaysian Quita. And of course, welcome back once again to Smart Intelligent News, also known as Sin TV Gaming. Now, you're probably wondering, what the heck is going on? Like, why is she like pointing to a door here today? Like, what's going on? So I have to explain myself like I always do because that's what smart intellectual people do. And on today's show, what we're going to be talking about is when you're smart, no one really likes you. And I hate to say it, but like I always do on Sin TV Gaming, I have to be honest. When you choose to be intelligent, when you choose to be knowledgeable, and when you choose to just be a nice, decent person, you just always have to deal with hate. You always have to deal with ridiculousness. And I actually have a story that I want to share today in regards to that. Now, here are a couple of updates before I start painting my door and why I decided to do this today. One thing that I know many of you have been telling me and talking to me about over and over and over again is you keep telling me that you want for me to do more behind the scenes stuff. Now, I will do some behind the scenes stuff, but not all behind the scenes just because I am, to be honest with you, I am a very boring person and there is nothing really exciting about me. So I will be showing little things that I do regularly so you get to have an idea of seeing what I have to do to get things the way that they are with this show. And also just to give you guys a better idea about me as a person. So the reason why I decided to do this was because I said, you know what, I wanted for you to get to know me a little bit better as a person and for you to see the work that is involved for how I get things to be here on the show. Now, my door has looked like a absolute hot mess for actually it's been what like maybe a year since I started noticing all these like scratch marks on my door. So what I decided to do is I went and I got some paint. I got a paintbrush, and I ended up getting a really good like angled paintbrush because you usually want to get a smaller angled paintbrush when you're dealing with a door overall. So that's what I decided to do. And I mean, honestly, it's just good to take care. It's just good to take care of the appearance of your doors. I think it's very important to do that, and that's the reason why I decided to do that today. It was just because I told myself, I was like, you know what, I have not had time. It just seems like, and let me tell you, freaks and geeks, I work really hard. And when I mean I work really hard, I really do. And I work so hard, and I know many of you can relate to this, is when you work so hard that you just don't have time to do the things that you need to do. I have like neglected my entire week because I have just been so tired. It's just been really crazy. So without further ado, let me come through here. Hi. As you can see, I am not to my full high good looking self today. There is just no realness going on right now. I'm not glowing, the highlights are not there, but this is how I look like every day. Seriously. I mean, many of you freaks and geeks have seen me without makeup on, but honestly, this is like how I dress. I'm really just low key, especially when you're painting, okay? So I have my paint bucket here, which is really nice. It has a good handle and everything. And I'll actually show you, I'm using the 2-inch angled paintbrush for the door here. But yeah, like it's just been crazy. So let's get into what I like to call the juicy topic of the day while I'm painting this awesome door because I look so dependable, right? Uh, but yeah, let's get into this juicy topic of the day where I want to just talk about, being a smart person and that people just don't like you. Lately, I've just noticed that a lot of people don't like me, and I've been trying to figure out why. I'm not a person that's rude. I'm not a person that's like really mean or something like that. I'm an overall really nice person. As much as I have very strong opinions about how I feel about a lot of things, overall, like I'm just a really, really nice person. So let's go ahead. Oh, and I got a really nice like satin type of paint. And yeah, this is just all I'm gonna be doing today. I actually did put some what they call it, like some tarp stuff down, just because I knew, paint gets messy and it just gets all over the place. And I'm gonna put a hair cap on because if it's one thing as a woman of color, you never want to get paint in your hair. Okay, unless you're Lady Gaga or something, then that's okay. Or if you're Bob the drag queen or something, then that's okay. But you never, ever, ever want to get paint in your hair ever. And that's something that I've kind of been realizing is you never want to do that. It's just never ever a good time. But yeah, I just don't understand why. Like people just go out of their way to just hate me for like no reason. I'm not a mean person. I'm not an ugly person. I do my best to be decent. I carry myself decently, especially being a bigger person. It's like hard, it's hard to find the clothes that actually work for you when you're bigger. It's just, it's quite a challenge, and that's something I've been doing. I've been going through my awesome closet, and I've just been getting rid of things that don't fit. Because one thing, and I'm sure many of you freaks and geeks can relate to this too, is when you lose weight, everything changes, and everything that you had before, or clothes that used to fit you in the past, you gotta let them go, because sometimes that can be like excessive baggage and it's just taking up so much room. And I'm kind of going through a reorganization phase. And later on today, I'm actually going to be putting my gaming chair together. I actually got this really sweet gaming chair. I got to give a shout out definitely to FitMax. I got it from Amazon. And what I'm going to be calling shopping now is I got stuff from the graveyard. That's what I'm going to be calling it. I think it sounds good. And of course, we have Grown. How you doing, Grown? And thank you for laughing because I look ridiculous today, don't I? But yeah, I have to say, it's just it just sucks sometimes, And I sometimes kind of feel this. I feel this like pressure to like be a certain way just because it's hard for me to deal with loneliness. Now don't get me wrong, I love myself, I really do, but I've just spent a lot of my life, and I've talked about this many times on the show. I've just spent a lot of my life kind of dealing with people who just go out of their way to hate me for no reason. I haven't done anything. And I think what it has to do with is with being intelligent. And when you're a smart person, when you choose to educate yourself, when you choose to think outside of closed-mindedness, and when you choose to try to make a difference with your life and what you want to do, people just don't like that. And one thing I will say, and I know many of you tell me that you consider going to education, which is a great thing. Please go and get an education. It's something that really helped me to be the person that I am today. And I am doing such a horrible paint job. So I know for those of you who are probably like professional painters, please do yell at me because I am doing a horrible job. Uh, so Oh, and Grown says, you look fine. I know the struggle. Yes, amen to that. Okay. I mean, I do my best to keep up my appearance the best way that I can. It's just not easy. It's like, and I know many of you can relate. It's like, you work all week, you work your butt off. You really do. You work really hard. And then you have to come, you gotta go and you go home or whatnot, and you gotta take care of stuff. And then you're trying to balance that with trying to be successful. You're trying to balance that with, taking care of yourself and doing what you have to do. And that's it's just not it's not fun, people. Like so many times I get from time to time, people will want to criticize me and they think that, everything comes to me really easy. But here's the reality. It doesn't come for me easy. Okay, I'm a person of color that's trying to do something intelligent. Okay, I have a lot of stereotypes that I have to deal with on a daily basis. I'm never good enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't have the looks. I don't have it together. And I have to deal with this on a daily basis. And I want for many of you to understand, and I know many of you can relate. Do you know how much pressure that puts on a person? Like, do you really do you really understand how much pressure um it can put on a person? And it's just, it sucks. And there are so many times where, I tell myself, and I know this sounds ridiculous, but maybe life would be so much easier for me if I was stupid. Because if I was stupid, things would not bother me the way that they do sometimes. And, that's been my week. Let me tell you, geeks and freaks out there, that's been my week. People have just been hating on me all week. It hasn't been fun at all. And I just, this is something I was thinking about because yesterday, I was going to do the show and everything, but I was so mad. I was so mad, freaks. Let me tell you. I was so upset that I just had to take some time. I had to take some time out. Like, I needed a time out. Like, I seriously needed to do that. And yeah, and Grown also says, yep, it's got to be 100 times better just to be accepted. And yeah, it's so true. It's so true. And yeah, like that's just what I deal with. I'm working really hard. I'm trying to be the best at what I do. And it's just, like it was crazy. I was dealing with this yesterday. I was really, I was doing my best. I was working really hard. And it just amazes me how sometimes people just don't like you just to not like you. And I do my best. That's the thing that's really frustrating about life sometimes, is when you work really hard and then there's just always just a couple of people who just go out of their way to make you feel miserable, or they just, they're just not happy with their life. So because you're happy and you're trying to do something nice for yourself, they just want to like come for you, right? And it's just, to me, my thing is this, okay? I'm happy because of a couple of reasons. Number one, I have to give God the glory and thanks that I was able to get this weight off and that my health was in a much better place. Because I will say, last year, 2016, was not an easy year for yours truly. I was falling apart. I had serious allergies, ridiculous body aches to the point where it was hard for me to get up in the morning. And there were many times where I was just so sad and I was wondering, when are things going to get better for me? And when are things going to do better for me? And that's the reason why the show has been really inconsistent. And so many of you, and I want to thank many of you freaks and many of you geeks out there who take the time to uplift me and tell me to keep going, because it's not easy. Okay, I'm an intelligent person of color, and I am constantly dealing with ignorance on a daily basis. It's not fun, it's not easy, but let me tell you, and this is not me saying that, because I know a lot of times, especially in our society, this is why this is called smart, intelligent news, because I want to keep it real with you, real with you guys, and for you to understand sometimes the realities of life. This is not me saying that, making this a black white issue and being like, oh, well, all white people are bad, no. But there's still white privilege in this society, whether people want to admit it, or be open about it. There's still white privilege in this society. I see white people doing things and being really successful and growing, and it's like I want to be there too, but because I'm a person of color, I'm never good enough, or I'm never up to par, or I'm never up to the level that white people are. And this is not me saying that, once again, that all white people are bad. That's not true. Hi, white people, all jokes aside, but there are a lot of good white people out there. But I've just noticed that it's a challenge for me as a person of color to be successful, and that I have to work 10 times harder, and I have to prove myself 10 times harder in order for me to even get a glimpse or even a piece of success and decency. And because the way I talk, I'm not, and see, I get it on both sides too, because as a person of color, the way that I talk is not appropriate. I'm supposed to be like a stereotypical person of color, then I'm more acceptable. So this is something that I constantly have to deal with. I constantly have to deal with people saying that I sound white. Last time I checked, I don't think you can really sound like a race. You may have like a dialect, or there's accents in different languages and things like that, but I don't think you can sound like a race. That's something that's always kind of blown my mind, and I never have come to terms with with understanding that concept of sounding, you sound you sound like a race. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. How can you sound like a race? Like, it's just really, it's just really irritating to me. And it's like, no matter what I do as a person of color, it's just like I'm never good enough. And I'm not saying that white people don't work hard, because they do, definitely. But I feel like I just get the short end of criticism all the time. And even when I'm doing the right thing, right, I still get criticized. I still get criticized. So I often tell myself, is it just better to be good looking and be like stupid than to be good looking and smart? And what I'm finding, and this is just from the reality of life so far that I'm living here, that people respect stupidity more than intelligence, and that stupidity tends to get you farther than intelligence. Like, if you're smart, it takes a little bit longer, because then you have to kind of you end up like meeting people who kind of understand your rhetoric, and they understand what you're trying to bring. But what I'm finding, and this is something I'm noticing, is that the harder I work, that's the more I get criticized. The harder that I show, the harder that I show my intelligence, that's the more backlash that I have to deal with. And this is what's been going on with me. It's just been up and down this week. It's just, I've been thinking about these things, and I wonder, I'm like, will I ever be good enough? And here's something I want to tell all of you freaks, is when you choose to be intelligent, you choose to be smart, or if you just choose to be different and unique, it's a lonely life sometimes until you meet people that understand who you are. But overall, you will have to get used to being by yourself. It sucks, and I hate to say it, but I have to say it because it's my truth. You will be alone a lot until people get what you're trying to do. Or sometimes it never happens. And that's something that I've kind of realized this week as I've been going through my week so far is, why do I do what I do? When I am constantly when I'm constantly dealing with criticism, what is the motivation that gets me up in the morning, that makes me want to put up with the stuff that I have to put up with sometimes? And I think what it is because I want to do better for myself, and I don't want to become another stereotype to be made fun of. That's maybe why I get up in the morning and I deal with all the unnecessary stress that I have to put myself through. And that's what I was dealing with this week, freaks. It sucked. It really, really, really sucked really bad. Um, and Grown says, you'll get there, keep at it. And that's what I keep telling myself. I really, Grown, let me tell you, I keep telling myself this, that I shouldn't give up. I got to keep going. And then I stay positive. But then there's always that one person that just wants you to not be happy, one of my favorite gospel singers, and I know many of you listen to all different genres of music. I do too. Besides rock and metal, I enjoy Christian music as well. It's very uplifting, positive, good stuff. And there's a gospel singer I've always enjoyed. His name is Kirk Franklin, and he has this song. I highly recommend it, even if you're Christian or not. This song is what gets me through the day sometimes. And there's a song he sang called I Smile. And there's a part of the song when he's like, I smile even though it hurts. And that's what I have to put myself through to get through the day and to get through my life so far, is that I have to put a smile on my face because I know that God is doing what he needs to do. And I know for many of you are not Christian. Many of you don't know I am Christian. I it's just, Christianity is not a bad thing, because I think a lot of times people think of it negatively because they look at the larger perspectives. But to me, Christianity is something that helps me to stay positive. It helps me to really be motivated and to believe in myself, and knowing that, even though I'm going through a really bad week this week, I'm going to make it and I'll be okay. And that's something it's very important to me. Um, it really is. And this door is looking really, really good. Let me tell you, it's looking really good. It's coming together. But yeah, that's been my week so far. So look, I'll say this. If you want to be smart, be smart. Don't let people, tell you that intelligence is stupid, because it's not. Intelligence will get you very far. And intelligence allows you to filter out nonsense. And, especially to, the people of color out there, just anybody, I don't care. Um, if you're smart, stick with it and continue going. I share my stories, and I share I got paint all over the place. Whoa! Oh my gosh. Oh, this is a mess. I am just a mess this week. But let's move on. Let's talk about some other stuff. But overall, if you're smart, it's gonna be lonely sometimes. Stay strong. You know, and God will be there with you. And just, you gotta go through it. You just have to go through it. That's what I keep telling myself. That's what I keep telling myself. And let's move on from there. So let's talk about my gaming headset situation, because this has been an absolute nightmare. Okay. Like, it's been an absolute nightmare for yours truly this week. So, okay, you know what I'm going to do? Let me move this tarp here, because I don't want paint all over my carpet. because that would be horrible. Oh, and the door is looking good. Well, thank you, Grown. I really appreciate you believe in me. This is my first time doing some DIY, do it yourself. Um, it's my first time doing this, so but you know what is really funny though is I was talking to my father and I was telling him that I was working on, painting my door. And it was great because then my dad was just like, well, I tried painting the other door and it didn't work. So I was like, I'm going to prove my dad wrong. And I actually painted the other door. And I have that on my, I will show, I'll definitely, well, I have it going, getting, working and all that. I've painted it. I'll probably maybe take some like pictures and stuff and do that. And then another thing I'm going to be doing too is I'm going to be making a Instagram for Sin TV Gaming because I have one for my other show. So I'll take pictures and show, I'll be doing more exclusive kind of episodes, more behind the scenes stuff besides what I do on here. But yeah, the other door is done. So I'm really happy about that. It's just like paint is all over the place. And then this paint is so sticky. I have to get some more paint. But I just wanted to use up the one that I already had. See, I was tired, okay? I worked really hard. I got back and I fell asleep and I left the paint out. So it is a little bit thick, but I'm not going to waste paint because let me tell you, freaks, paint is expensive. Paint is so expensive that I sometimes tell myself, why am I doing this to myself? Seriously. But I digress. So, okay, so let's get back to the whole headphone or not, well, gaming headphone ridiculousness, my nightmare. Okay, so I got the first set of gaming headphones. The sound was beautiful. Everything was beautiful. It was great. And I decided, because I've been playing Onigiri, and I've been playing that game. It's great. And that's what I've been playing for the month. And I have another game I'll be playing too. But I won't talk about that until later. But I digress. So I've been playing Onigiri. I had my, my headset on. I had my, was working with the mic there. And all of a sudden, the sound is just not good. It's not good at all. I was so mad. I wanted to like rip my hair out. That's how mad I was, how irritated I was. So then today, I actually, from the graveyard, as I call it, or AKA shopping, from the graveyard, I ended up getting my second headset here. So I'm actually going to hopefully try it out today. I will be doing another episode today, putting my gaming chair together. So that'll be a lot of fun because I suck at putting things together. So we'll see how this goes. But I've been, so I got that. So hopefully this one will be a little bit better because it wasn't loud enough. And then like people kept like complaining that they couldn't hear me. And I'm a loud person. Like, I mean, you could probably hear me from miles away. That's just how I am. So, oh my gosh, there's like paint everywhere. This paint is so sticky. And the thing about it too is for each side of my door, I need like 2 coats of paint. Like I have to apply two coats of paint just to like get things going again. Because my door is really scratched up, like I was mentioning or earlier, if I can talk today. It's just horrible. And then I hate like the drip marks, so like I have to kind of go over it again and again because the drip marks, when they dry, it just doesn't look good. So if you're painting, you want to use an angled brush And that's what I'm going to do here. Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, so yeah. So I've learned that you never want to leave paint to dry or get thick like this because it makes it harder to paint. It's horrible. Yeah, it's really, really crazy. Okay, so all right, so question of the day. Hey, I appreciate it, but I'm not going to answer that question. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude, but that's just a question that I will not answer. Um, but yeah, I'm getting there with this gaming setup. So I have my PS3. I got a couple games for that. I actually was trying out Star Ocean, The Last Hope, the international edition of it. So that's been really good. And then I also, besides that, I got my PS3. Now, here's the problem. So I ended up not getting an Elgato game capture card. I ended up getting a different capture card, which was so much easier. But it doesn't work with the PS2. So guess what I have to do? I have to buy another game capture card, and that one works with the PS2. And then what I'm hoping is maybe within 2 weeks' time, I should have a PS4. I was thinking about getting the PS4 Pro, but that thing's like $400, like mid 300, mid 400. And I was just like, you've got to be, no, you've got to be joking. I mean, it's just so expensive to keep up with this gaming stuff. Like, I love gaming, but it's just getting ridiculous. Like, the prices that you have to pay. I mean, games are like what? They're like $60 a piece. And it's like, who has time for that? Like, I don't have time to be, paying $60 a piece for a game. Like, I just think that's absurd. I think it's ridiculous. I mean, I get it if it's a triple A title or something like that, but still, even the triple A titles, some of them really suck. And like Mass Effect, I know they had Mass Effect Andromeda. I was thinking about getting it, but when I actually saw like the gameplay, I was really not impressed with that game. I really was not. I was like, this is what I've waited for. This is what I've waited for. Like, seriously? You think I'm going to pay $60 for that mess? No. No, I will not pay $60 for that. I mean, it was absolutely... Well, I will say this paint is really doing a good job with covering the mess. Because my door was just really... I don't know why I allowed my door to get like this. Because I'm usually really good about stuff like that. And then you want to make sure you're getting the edge part of the door too. So it usually takes about 24 hours for this type of stuff to dry overall. So, but it dries really quick though. That's the thing I've kind of noticed about this paint is it does dry really fast. So that's a good thing. I will say that much. Is at least it'll dry fast. I'm getting it on my doorknob. Oh, jeez. Just help me. This is ridiculous. All right. Yeah, I have scratch marks. Let's go through the second squares and get that done. But yeah, so I got my gaming. Well, let's also talk about the gaming chair situation as well, because I got the first gaming chair. I thought it was going to work, and then it didn't recline. So I had to return that and then get this FitMax chair. Now, what's really nice about the FitMax chair is that it actually has a USB massaging lumbar support. Okay, let me say that again. A USB lumbar massager in there. Yes. Enough said. So I am so excited to put that together. I'm going to actually put that together while I'm waiting for the paint to dry here on the first coat of paint, because I mean I'm looking at it now and it looks really good there, but you're gonna have to let it dry and then you have to go over it again. Like, to be honest, you can't just, I mean, depending on the type of paint, you can't just go over it once and then expect it to like be awesome. It's just not gonna happen. So I mean, I'm not a professional painter, so for professional painters out there, please do not be, no, I want you to be mad at me because I'm doing a terrible job. Okay, so but all of that aside, so yeah, here I am. I'm getting this this is my second chair. And then with the first chair, it was missing a screw. And the recline did not recline well at all. And I decided to change up a little bit of the colors for the gaming setup that I want. And it's going to be red, black, and white. And it looks really, really good. I have my new background as well, that you freaks will definitely see that. And yeah, I've just been really working on cleaning up and getting myself together because I've just been a real hot mess these like last couple weeks. But this week particularly has been really, really, really bad. It's just been awful. And then Grown says, no, it's cool. No, I appreciate it. I really do. But yeah, if you definitely have questions, of course, let me know. Let me know. So but yeah, it's just been an absolute mess this week. And I don't even feel like I have time to do anything. Like, I just don't feel like I have time. I don't feel like I have time to do anything. I don't feel like I'm doing anything decent with my life. Like, I just feel useless. Like, that's just how this week has been. So if you see me disappear here, it's because I'm working on the bottom. Let me know if you can still hear me here. Okay, so now I gotta sit down on the on the tarp, so I'm probably gonna have paint all over me. So I definitely will be washing up after doing all this mess. And see, this is what I do, okay? So when some of you get mad at me saying that I'm not putting in a lot of effort, well, look at this. This is a lot of effort. It is a lot of effort to, like, I mean, it's not a lot of effort to paint, okay? But it's the time that you have to put in to paint. And you have to paint more than one time. You got to go over it with like multiple coats of paint. Because if you don't, it's just going to kind of seep through. And that's what I'm noticing like right now is like I had one like section of the door that was like the paint completely chipped off and completely went off. And that's what I'm covering right now. Like, I'm going to have to go over this like multiple times. And then I got this stuff that's called Crud Cleaner. It's a really good cleaner for like getting paint and like hard stains off of like your floors and things like that. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. And then I have reading that I have to do too. So it's just like I have so much stuff that I have to do and get done. So like that's what I've been working on this week too. Because I've been getting back into reading and like I feel it's important to read and keep yourself informed. It really is. I find that to be a really high quality in a person is when they take the time to read and read and comprehend. I mean, you can read all day, but if you can comprehend, you know, what is being articulated, like, I think that's cool. I really think that is cool. This door was really, man, it's like really messed up. It's like really, really messed up. Okay, so I have finished. A lot of work. And of course we have Bella, and as Alaska would say, hi. What's up? Yeah, I am doing painting. Many people wanted to see the behind the scenes of how I, you know, get stuff done. So I'm actually doing painting today. And my paint actually just went out here. So if you hear loud noises, that's not me falling apart. It probably is me falling apart. But it will be me actually getting some more paint here because I need it. And I actually got like 2 cans of paint just because I told myself that I might need some extra. All right. All right, let's fill this up with some more paint. Paint for all. No, I'm being ridiculous. But yeah, I am painting doors. Many of you wanted to see the behind the scenes of how things go on with me and everything. So I'm just showing you what I do in my day here. And then I gotta go in and you gotta use that paint stick. Make sure it's all blended and all that. So, all right. I have paint all over. So yeah, it's gonna be real fun cleaning. As I'm drinking my water to stay hydrated. Actually, I'm drinking some juice too. So water and juice. And Bella, you are so ridiculous. Okay, so Bella says, I think this is awesome. It's good to see you move around. I was starting to think that you're a doll. You know, I think a lot of people don't think I have a life. I'm joking. Because I think a lot of you think, like, a lot of you think I don't. Like, I think some of you just think I'm just, like, I'm a Final Fantasy character, and, like, all I do is just sit around and I don't do anything. And it's like, I actually do. Like, I have a lot that I do. You know, for many of you, I work hard. I also have to do, a lot of reading, and I'm trying to get myself, smarter here. So it's like, I got to do that too. So it's just so much stuff I have to do in my day. Okay. So for those of you who always say that, oh, she just sits around and doesn't do anything. Well, now you see, I actually do something. Okay? Ridiculous. Ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous that, like, I don't do anything. It's like, what? I am just not the type of person that would want to sit around. You know, I try to do everything myself that I can. If there's something that I can't do, yeah, I'm gonna get someone to do it, but at least myself, I try to do it on my own, and it helps you to save money. And of course, I have paint on my hand, and that is a very attractive quality. So to the guys out there who are checking out today's episode, I am sorry that I am not looking attractive today. This is how I look like every day. Sorry. All right. So all jokes aside and me being ridiculous, and I made sure to cover like all of my electronics and stuff like that, just because I knew that this was going to get very, very messy. And this is very, very messy. You know, I'm painting like horrible. Okay. So yeah, this this looks horrible, but I'm doing my best here. Okay, so let's go over it here again. All right. Now the top is looking a little bit better. Now the sides not so much. But I think once it dries, then it'll kind of, then I can fill in the gaps if there's any. Like all I need now is just to have a British accent while I'm painting. Like, you see, I'm painting the door. It looks really nice. That's my horrible British accent too. So for those of you, definitely shout outs to my European audience. I'm sorry I've offended your entire country. Okay, so oh man, this is horrible. This looks absolutely. I look like I'm painting like in a horror movie or something. It's just ridiculous. And speaking of that, I have been really interested in people of color actually in vampire movies because well, actually, you know what I found out? The first African American person to be a vampire, I believe, was the guy from Blackula in 1972. Like that was like the first one that I saw, and I thought that was really cool. And then yeah, there's a lot of good vampire movies that have people of color. It's just something I thought was really interesting. Um, and there are a lot of hot Asian vampire movies too. Like I've been watching Vampire Prosecutor season 2. Let me tell you how juicy that show is and like how hot that guy is. Prosecutor Min, I forgot his name, but he's hot. I just have to say that. He's really good looking. It's really good looking. But yeah, I've been watching that. Like those shows from South Korea are just crazy. They're like really, really crazy in regards to like the storylines and stuff and the acting. And I am, let me tell you, freaks, it's hot. It is hot today. So, so hot. But I have this stupid thing on my head because I don't want to get paint in my hair. That's not happening. You know, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to be extra today. That's what's up. Um, but Bella says yes, a Final Fantasy character. I know you bust your butt working, and yeah, I do. I really do. But like, I just feel like sometimes people just think that my life is really easy, and it's not. Um, for those of you who are just checking me out right now, I was talking about my week and how like I was just not taken seriously at all. And it's just like people just don't like me for some reason. You know, it's not me asking for validation. It's just like, just be respectful with me. You know, it's just frustrating. You know, and then if here's the other thing, if you have an issue with me, right? If you don't like me or something like that, just come to me directly and let's like talk about it. You know, and I always find that funny that like people never want to talk to me straight. They always want to be hypocritical and then they go and like talk to someone else. And it's just like, if you don't like me, fine. If you have an issue with me, just come and talk to me. It's been a mess this week, okay? It has been an absolute mess. So if you see me going down again, I'm just working on the bottom part of this door. I am working on the bottom part of this door. I am working. Okay. All right. So working on the bottom part of the door here. Okay, so okay, now it's starting to come together a little bit. It's starting to look a little bit better. This door has been absolutely dirty for such a long time. I mean, this door really fits my personality. It's just dirty and forgotten. Just dirty and forgotten. This is just horrible. And I have like paint. I was really glad because at first I was considering not getting the tarp. I am very glad that I did get the tarp, just because I'm getting paint all over. I got paint on like my desk here, so yeah, this is gonna be a lot of fun cleaning this up later. Oh yeah, cleaning. I hate cleaning. Like I hope someday I'm with someone who likes to clean because I mean I'll clean, but I just hate the process of cleaning. It's just not fun, and it's just not good. It's not a good time. So yep, working on the bottom part of the door, starting to kind of come together now a little bit. And you know what? I think I'm not gonna paint I was thinking about painting the door handle, but I probably am not going to do that. I'll just get some of the crud cleaner and clean the. I'm going to have to get some new doorknobs anyway because. And also another thing, if you're painting, please make sure you put up painter's tape. I'm just saying because paint will get all over, and you need to do that. It's so important. Like get that painter's tape, because it will save you a lot of pain and suffering in the long run. Oh, other thing too I've been doing is like I've been talking about that on my other show, which you should check out, called the Kirby Melhead Show. I've been watching Addams Family. Addams Family has been great. My favorite thing that Morticia says is she's like, if you need anything, just scream. Which I think I'm gonna start saying that from now on, because I think that is absolutely hilarious. All right, so I'm working on the bottom part of this door. And of course, today I will be doing the Caesar thing. I was supposed to do it yesterday, but look, man, I was so tired, I just passed out. I just fell asleep. I fell asleep with the paint can open, okay? If that's not messed up, then I don't know what is. Like, absolutely horrible. So I'm just working on the bottom part of the door, like I was saying earlier, trying to get it all smooth, because when you're painting, you always want to apply it smooth. So I got a brush that I think the actual bristles on this brush is really good. I ended up getting some more of those watercolor brush pencils for the show too. They're really nice. So the other ones that I got are from a company called Arteza, and you just screw the cap, you put water in there, and they actually have buttons, so you can release the water with the button. Oh man, I just feel so blessed that I'm able to be able to get some of this stuff. Even though I have to put up with a lot, it's totally worth it for me to get stuff to show you freaks, man. I'm hoping I could get my PS2 next week, but if not, I am going to get some really awesome unicorn makeup brushes, because I want to start doing like makeup looks based on like some of my favorite video game characters and stuff. And I may even do like a vampire look too, because that would be really cool. But I have to get the stuff for that because I want to try to do the look the best way that I can. I am getting some more hair too. I'm going to try to get some different color hair and stuff like that too. But it takes a lot of time. And let me tell you, getting like wigs and stuff like that, wigs are expensive. Like wigs are really, really, they're very expensive. So, so that's why I tend to like get one every so often, because it just takes time to build up you know, a wig collection. I have slowed down on like my let me come up for a second. My butt hurts. Okay, so yeah, it does take time to build a wig collection, but I have slowed down on getting makeup because I am almost done with completing my makeup collection. Once I get it complete, I will be doing an update video. That I will be doing on the Curvy Metalhead show, so you know, so you guys can see it. So yeah, that'll be cool. That'll be cool. All right, so you're a mess. Yes, it is always hot. That is so true. But today, specifically, it is super hot. Okay. Like, I'm like sweating profusely. Okay. So Bella also says, I'm going to say this again. I think you're amazing, intellectual, intelligent person, and you inspire me. Well, you know what? I am glad that I inspire you. That really means a lot to me because it's people like you and many of you freaks and rockers, like I always say on the Curvy Metalhead show, that keep me doing what I do. And it's not easy, you know, to do what I do sometimes, just because you deal with a lot of nonsense. A lot of nonsense. So you really do. All right. Back down again, working on the bottom part of this door. Okay, so now I'm working on the bottom part of the door here. It's looking really nice. And if you guys are into vampire anime, one show I highly recommend is Hellsing. I finished it a while ago. Hellsing is awesome, man. That show is the reason why like Alucard would be like my full-time boyfriend. He is so hot. Oh my gosh. Like, I watched it and now I know they have the well, this is a while back, but they have the OVAs. They're called like Hellsing Ultimate or something, and it's supposed to be more like gross, you know. So I like stuff like that. So maybe I'll do a review on that and watch it through. But I've been watching a lot of anime as of late. I gotta finish watching Cowboy Bebop. That's the first one I gotta do because Spike is hot, and that's probably the only reason why I would review it. No, I'm totally joking. Yeah, Cowboy Bebop I would have to do first, just because it's really Cowboy Bebop is essential. Like, if you're just starting in anime, I highly recommend watching Cowboy Bebop. Of course, I've been watching Sailor Moon because, you know, Sailor Moon is like one of my favorites of all time. Like, that's how I always dreamed that I would meet like my husband would be in that way. You know, like I was just a complete, you know, like I'm just a complete mess. And then he's like super handsome. He's like, no, I got you. And he just speaks in poems. Like, that is the best way to meet someone. Just speak in poems. Seriously. It's crazy. All right. So, all right. The bottom is almost done. I sound like I'm cooking or something. The bottoms are done. You know, it's just, it's ridiculous. Okay, so yeah, I usually spend a lot of time just working on the bottom part here, just because it was just really scratched up. It was messy. I'm just doing a little bit of painting touch up here, where I'm just making sure that I get everything smooth and nice, like my personality. All right, so I'm talking like I'm a complete like airhead or something. It's just, that's how I feel, you know? No, I'm kidding. People say like that's how I sound like if I was a white woman, like, and I'm like, you know, not all white women sound like that. Seriously, that's ridiculous. See, stereotyping gets you nowhere. I keep telling people this. Like, stereotyping gets you nowhere. It really, I just like doing that voice because it does not even sound like how I sound like. So, and it just makes me laugh too because that's how some people think I sound like. But I always tell people jokingly that I'm like, oh, like I'm a white woman stuck in an African body. Like I always say that. Like I always say that, as funny as that may sound, but I'm just gonna tell people that just to mess with them. I'm just like, I'm a white woman that's stuck in an African American body. That's what I am. Uh, no, all jokes aside, but yeah, it's just I find it funny to joke around about stuff like that, just because for me, life is not always about being serious all the time. So I think it's good to have some kind of sense of humor. I think it's important. I think it is very important to have some type of sense of humor. All right. All right. I sound like Twisted Sister or something. I wanna rock. Just like that. I wanna rock. I like Twisted Sister. I just enjoy glam metal in general. I mean, glam metal really didn't stick around as long as the other subgenres of metal. I mean, there's still a lot of bands that do glam metal, especially like for me, I really also like Poison is really good too. And Cinderella, love Cinderella. Cinderella's pretty cool. And let me tell you, if you like metal, it's like people think you're automatically weird. It's really funny though. Or if you just like anything that's kind of geeky or just interesting, like a lot of people don't know how to take it. And then they think you're like not what's the best way to put it? They think you're like not normal or something. And it's really funny to me. I enjoy that. All right, so let's get back in going over. It's like paint is dripping everywhere. This is probably the worst paint job ever. That should be the name of today's episode. Worst paint job ever. This is horrible. This is the worst paint job ever. And watch, like some people will say, they'll be like, I'm sorry, but you don't even know how to paint. Worst paint job ever. Wee. Ugh. Don't you hate that when people complain about everything? It's like the most annoying characteristic when it comes to people. This is why I don't like a lot of people. I always say that. I know it sounds weird to say that, but this is why I don't like people. Because it's just like sometimes you should just like not complain about everything. Oh, it's just horrible. Okay. All right. We're almost done. All right. Almost done. All right. So we're getting there. It looks horrible. But everything looks good from a distance. That's how I feel about a lot of men. Everything looks good from a distance. I'm kidding. Being ridiculous. No, I love my smart men. So shout outs to the smart men out there that work hard and do what they're supposed to do. Thank you. Thank you for setting a good example. All right. Okay, so I got the door for the most part. So let's work on the outer part of the door. And then you get to see my nice reach. You see my reach? See that? I'm being messy. I'm being stupid. That's That's how you get the guys, ladies. Let me tell you. You get the guys by intentionally reaching over. You have to like you do that. Like if you work out, just do squats. It gets them every time. Then they'll like come up to you and be like, excuse me, ma'am. I believe you're doing your squats wrong. Let me help you. No, it doesn't work that way. I wish it did. That'd be nice. But okay. Get up here. I'm painting up here. Getting up here because I'm painting up here. That's my horrible like 80s 80s metal voice right there. I'm painting on the side. I'm painting on the side. If you don't like it, doesn't really matter because I'm painting on the side. And then see, I would do songs like that, like really funny kind of comedy kind of songs. Like I would never want to like be taken seriously like that. Like I would just sing funny stuff. You know, like I would have a song called like "No One Likes You Because You Smell Bad." You know, like stuff like that. No one likes you because you smell bad. This is why you don't have friends. No one likes you. No. Oh man. Wouldn't that be the worst if someone came up like okay, let's say like there's a guy, lady, whatever, who you really like, and then you have like good talk with them, right? You're talking, everything's going good, everything, you smell good, they smell good, and then all of a sudden they just start singing that, like, no one likes you because you smell bad, no one likes you because you smell bad, no one, oh, that would like break my heart right there. I would have to turn on my Jay Sean CD after that. I'd be so heartbroken. So heartbroken. Oh, man. And I have been enjoying Weeknd's song, the I Feel It Coming or whatever. That's a good song. It's got that real good, like, old sound to it, Like, it's very nice. Some decent R&B, I would say. Not my like, favorite, but... And see, for me, I'm the type where I like a lot of older music, so that's why I feel also I don't get along with a lot of people, just because like people look at me and they're like not expecting me to know a lot of older bands and artists and stuff like that. But I just, I appreciate the legends because if it was not for the legends, we wouldn't be here, right? So I always take the time to learn and to appreciate, All right, so I'm getting the side of the door there. Oh, man. Oh, there's like paint. There's like paint. Oh, this door looks horrible. It's just like drippy paint everywhere. But you know what? I did my best. That sounds like, when you're watching the news, right? And then like there's always that athlete that they ask. They're like, so tell us, what did you think about the game? And then they're always like, well, I think we did a good job. And yeah, it's just that. That's what we did. That's just how this door looks like. Like seriously, it looks horrible. Okay, so all right, so okay, so Bella says I would like to try clip-ins. I wear my natural hair, but I had to cut it because of the inch. Yeah. Oh, let me tell you, the big chop can make you or break you. Like for me, I have to tell you. Well, let me take a little paint break here. Paint break. Paint break. Okay. So this is what happened to me. I have to tell you guys another story here. While I'm taking a paint break and I'm looking at me regretting painting this door and how it looks horrible. Looks terrible. Okay, so my hair used to be a little bit thicker, but then I decided to get a perm because I was trying to look like white. I have to be honest. I was trying to look white. Okay. So I go get the perm, whatever, put in my hair, and then my hair just starts like, the tingling. And you know that feeling when, like, here's the thing: if you're gonna get a perm, make sure you don't scratch your scalp. That is the worst thing you can do. Okay. So then I have it in and I wash it out, and then my hair was just so thin. It's unhealthy. I mean, I looked like I just came out of like a dirt mound or something. I looked dead, you know. And I never did it again. And the only reason why my hair is the way it is now is because it took years of me rehabilitating hair rehabilitation. I had to do tons of hair rehabilitation, okay? To get my hair getting back to where it is now. Like if I were to press my hair, I think my hair would be about here, which is not too bad. But my hair is what they like to call the type 4 hair, where it's like really, really like tightly curled. It's not a good time, let me tell you. Not a good time. Okay, so all right, so I got the side. Or as Pablo Francisco would say, pod to side. If you guys have not had a chance to check out Pablo Francisco, what is wrong with you? Pablo Francisco, hilarious comic. He has 2 really good stand-up specials. He is one of my favorite like Latino comics, and he's beyond Latino for me. He's just a comic, period, and he's just hilarious. And he has a stand-up that's called Bits and Pieces. And there's a part where he was talking about where he went to the barber to get his hair cut, and then he was kind of like making fun of like the traditional kind of barber. Like he's like pot to side, and that's where I get that from. Like I love stand-up comedy. Like I haven't actually been to a stand-up comedy like show, but it's like my dream to go to just a good stand-up show and just get made fun of for like just for, even if it's like 10 minutes, I would just laugh. But it's hard to do stand-up comedy. I keep telling people this. Like a lot of times people are like, oh, all you do is you just stand up there with your microphone and you say funny stuff. No, the funny stuff comes from experience. The funny stuff comes from preparation. And you have to make a set, and you have to, you have to feel out your audience, and then you got to find out if you really need a punchline or if you don't need a punchline. And I've also really liked the what's called alternative comedy. So this is an intellectual comedy, or just comedy that's just way out there. And there's a lot of really good alternative intellectual comics, especially comics of color, that are just, they are hilarious, like absolutely hilarious. Like there was one, I forgot her name, but she was great. And she was kind of talking about how she had to put like her white woman voice on and then like people kind of gave her a break. And I could totally relate to that, because like for most of my life, people automatically just think I'm white. Like they say I act white and stuff, which is really funny. And I really go along with it. I do. You guys know I like white guys, all that. So I don't even have to speak on it. No, but I spoke on it already, right? So, but yeah, it's just interesting what people think when you say you like white guys, or if you like Asian men, or if you like, whatever that's outside of your culture. It's really funny how some people think about it, because there's some people who are like totally cool with it, and they're like, yeah, good for you, and then there are other people that are just like, really? Like, you like Asian guys? Like, that's kind of messed up. And I'm like, well, what's messed up about liking what you like? Like, I'm not gonna knock you for liking what you like, because that's what you like, right? I mean, I may jokingly make fun of you for it, jokingly, because that's who I am, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, you shouldn't like black guys because you know how black guys are. That's absurd, okay? It's ridiculous. So that's why I talk a lot about culture on the show, because it's just something that is relatable, but it's just something too that's just crazy at the same time, that sometimes some people can be closed-minded just because of your skin color. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It really is. Okay? It's absolutely ridiculous. All right. So let's see. Okay. So I got. Oh, I didn't get the top here. What is wrong with me? I was trying to be all good looking, reaching for the top here. Oh, another joke. Okay. So. Another joke. Okay, so I got that. I didn't get the side here. So let's get the side. Get the side. Let's get the side. And I got like painter's tape all over. And you know, I was really stupid too because yesterday I started painting and I didn't open up my window. And then I opened up my window and guess what happened, freaks? Guess what happened? So I open up my blinds, right? And I'm, you know, being all like with my blinds, and it broke. My blinds broke into 2 pieces. So I've been spending so much this week because my blind broke. But I have some exciting news because, you know, I have to go from depression to excitement. I got a makeup mirror. Actually, it is an LED makeup mirror with a magnifying mirror that you kind of put on the mirror, and it's battery powered, and it's made by the same company that makes those really nice makeup brushes on Amazon that everybody has been talking about. They're called Givenchy. Hopefully I'm saying it right. If I'm not saying it right, please correct me, but you will correct me regardless because that's what you do. So yeah, it's a Givenchy, and I'm gonna get some more brushes from them. They actually have those unicorn brushes too, which are really nice, and their brushes are very affordable. Some other places that actually carry affordable makeup brushes besides Givenchy, there's another one called, of course, for us, you know, freaks and rockers, right? BS Mall. You can get a 10-piece brush set from them on Amazon, I believe, for $7.99. Let me show you that again. $7.99. Enough said. I mean, super affordable, you know. Yeah, super horrible. And Bella says no one likes you because you smell. Yeah, I just think it's funny, you know. And that's why I always try to smell good. And you will not believe how many times people stop me to tell me I smell good, or they just come up to me and smell me like I'm a zoo exhibit or something. It's so annoying, let me tell you. I don't mind if you ask me like, hey, can I smell you? And usually I'm the type where I don't have a filter, so I don't care. You know, I mean, if you want to smell my armpit, fine. I mean, I'm not gonna like tell you, no, don't smell my armpit. It's how you come up to me, right? So if you come up to me and you're like, hey, I want to smell your armpit, I'll be like, you know what? I actually shaved today. Yes, you may smell my armpit. Just saying. I don't care. I have no filter. Really, I don't. Okay, so all right, let me get the side. Let me get the side of this door. I want to get the side of this door. Okay. I know my parents are probably outside like, what the heck? Like, what the heck did we produce here? Because she's weird, right? All right, so I'm just kind of going on the edge here. Oh, and I've been like, I remember I talked to earlier about, well, I didn't talk about it earlier. What's wrong with me? I have been getting into in the country music actually as of late, and I was listening to one of my favorite groups. For those of you who are not familiar, pardon me as I scratch my armpit. So subliminal, scratching my armpit, very attractive. Okay, so I've been listening to Florida Georgia Line, and I'm in love with Florida Georgia Line. I'm in love with both of them. They can sing so well. So I have that. I think that'll be my first country album review here on Sin TV Gaming. I've got to talk about Florida Georgia Line because they're absolutely amazing. Okay. I'm not really into Luke Bryan anymore. He's kind of like jerky, if you ask me. Don't get me wrong, I can appreciate Blake Shelton, but his voice is just not there anymore. Good for you, Gwen Stefani, for like locking that down, but his voice is not there. And the song that they did together, I believe they did together at the Country Music Awards, it was terrible. Now, Gwen Stefani, don't get me wrong, Gwen Stefani, I love her. I live for her. She is gorgeous. She's super talented. I appreciate what she did in No Doubt. Now, I will say the latest No Doubt album was also terrible. It wasn't good. Now, her as a solo artist is interesting. Um, I like maybe some of her songs, but not all. But her and Blake Shelton is kind of interesting. They're kind of interesting together. They're that very classic example in Hollywood of like opposites like attract. Cause I could never. I always saw Gwen Stefani being with someone that's just like just really casual, you know. Like I never would have seen her with a country music star. I just think that's really interesting. That's just me though. I really think that's interesting. Uh, Bella says, "Is it wrong that I wear baby lotion because I love the smell?" No, I actually use baby lotion too, and I actually use baby oil when I'm working on my art projects, or like if I consider myself a colorist, as they would call it, for people who color. Well, I'm an adult coloring book colorist. There we go. But yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it. I use baby oil to blend my colors together. It looks great. It actually looks really, really good. You're distracting me from painting. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Okay, so, oh, but I love Florida Georgia Line so much, man. As soon as I hear that song, like, baby, you song, windows down and cruise. Like, I love that song. That, like, I put that on repeat, okay? I put that on repeat like a 6-piece from KFC, okay? That's what I put that song on as. Oh, and another thing that I'm going to be doing, and this is going to be a crossover episode. I love food, okay? I love food so much that I'm going to do something called Let's Eat, where I actually will buy food from all different places. And it includes food from different countries, and I'll try it out and eat it. So I think what I'm going to do coming up, maybe this week or next week, I want to try a Let's Eat where I eat some Burger King, okay? Burger King gives me life, okay? It really does. Their fries are amazing. Their sandwiches are good. So I just wanted to kind of show you some of the things. I know it's like unhealthy, but I kind of eat differently a little bit when I go to Burger King on certain things. But I will do that. So I'll do a Let's Eat, and you know, I'll eat some food for you. So that'll be fun. I think that, see, I've been trying to do some different stuff, you know. Many of you have been really telling me, especially on Instagram, that you've been loving the challenges that I've been doing. I will be doing challenges for Sin TV Gaming as well. And yeah, I have some really kind of interesting ones that I will be doing. And I will reveal the first challenge that I will be doing coming up this upcoming week. Am I looking forward to this one? No, but I will do it anyway because it will be fun. But it's gonna be kind of like a crossover. Well, no, it won't be a crossover. That one will be for specifically for Kirby Metalhead show. But I figure I'm going to talk about both shows on the. So just because you know I do both shows, I was trying to kind of keep them separate, but they relate to each other. So I'll talk about stuff that I talk about on Kirby Metalhead show here, and vice versa. So yeah, it is what it is. Okay. So yeah, I will be revealing my Metalhead Beauty Challenge. Yeah, this yeah that it yeah it'll be good. It'll be good. Belle's like, yes, let's do the Let's Eat. Yeah, I really was excited about that. So you guys will get to see what I eat on a daily basis. Yeah, so that'll be coming up. And I do have some healthy stuff that I eat, but once in a while I just like to get just messy with my food and just eat something really juicy and good. I sound like I'm talking about like I'm gonna marry Christian Grey or something. I'm just ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous. Baby, you song, windows down, cruise. Yep. Got that song in my head. Gonna be there all day. Gonna be there all day. Oh my goodness, I was painting over tape. What is wrong with me? Who paints over tape? I would. I would paint over tape. Okay, I would. Okay. Yes, I would paint over tape. Yes, I would. Because, that's just what I do. Okay, so almost there. Almost there. No, being stupid. I'm being stupid. But yeah, this is how I am, guys. Like, this just, what you see is what you get with me, that's just how I am. Okay, so all right. Sweet. Okay, so now I finished painting the door. All I'm gonna do now is just do some touch-ups, just in places where I think it needs to be touched up. So I'm gonna work on the bottom of the door and work around here. And then I'll probably get something to eat after I end today's episode because I need to eat something. Okay, there we go. So I hope you appreciate seeing this other side of me today, because I know usually I come on and I'm all like, in today's news, and I'm always like that, right? So now you see that I'm actually human. Now I know how like celebrities feel, because I think a lot of times people just think of them as a character and they don't think of them as like a real person. So I can relate. I totally get it now. Okay, so all right, so I did that. Let me go one more time over this here. Try to smooth out any like kinks and stuff. And oh, you know what too? I will be buying 50 Shades Darker because now it's out on like Blu-ray or whatever. So I'm gonna be talking about that. I will be talking about that. And I also will be talking about something towards the end of the episode to kind of let you know what's going to be going on in regards to that, me talking about 50 Shades. So, all right. Okay. Oh my gosh. All right. I'm just trying to like finish up the paint here just because I don't want it to like dry. And I dripped some more. Oh man. I keep dropping paint. What is wrong with me? Just paint everywhere. Oh man. Just paint everywhere. Okay. Yeah, but I will be doing something with 50 Shades there. So I'll be talking about that coming up. So that'll be very interesting. Okay. It's kind of finishing up, trying to do a little bit of smoothing. All right. Finishing it up. Like, see what I try to do before it dries, I try to like smooth it out So at least it doesn't look too crazy. Like how I look like today. I look ridiculous today. But never again. No. All right. Smooth this out. Okay. I usually paint the hinges too, just because then it kind of looks more blended in. So I do paint the hinges. But then I usually go in with some WD-40 and then I kind of oil them up again. So that's what I usually do. Okay. Do a little bit of smoothing. Oh, this door looks bad. But it does. I mean, the other door looks a lot better than this one. I'm gonna see how it's gonna look like once it dries, though. But it doesn't look as good as the other door, and I just think it's because the paint is it was thicker. So I just should have just put in new paint and then kind of thinned it out. Should have gotten some paint thinner, but I think the thicker paint look will be fine. Okay, all right, I think I'll just go. Man, paint is like everywhere. Paint is everywhere, really. It's just all over the place. All right, I completely forgot to paint the inside part of the door here. So let's do that. Let's paint the inside of the door. Because I'm an idiot. Okay, there we go. Let's paint the inside of the door. Okay, there we go. Because I'm an idiot. Okay, there we go. I'm trying to finish up this paint. And then I'll let it dry. And then, I'll let it dry completely, 24 hours. Or it may dry just by the end of the day, just because it's so stinking hot. And then I'll put probably one more coat. And then it should be done. All right. Yeah. All right. So my paint bucket is empty. So all I'm doing now is what I like to call the smoothing process. I'm just kind of going through any parts that the paint is dripping. Because then what that does is it helps it to smooth out during the drying process. So, and it's already drying. That's the crazy part. Like, it's that hot today. Oh, and I also got a new fan as well, because this fan that I have turned on right now is not working. So I am sweating even more. So I got one. It is a matte white type of fan, and it is remote controlled. Oh, I know. I am so spoiled. Getting a remote controlled fan. I mean, I never thought. Oh, man. All right. Do a little more smoothing, especially around these small squares. They kind of need it. Look at this. I totally missed that one. There you go. Oh man, I totally missed this one. There was like drippage everywhere. I didn't even see it. This is why I go back. This is why I go back and I smooth everything out while it's drying. This is why I do that. Is because when I go in with the second coat, then it'll make it easier. All right. First coat is done. All right, there we go. All right, totally done. You can see my hands. They look bad, not classy. That's okay. I'm painting. Got a problem with it? Fine. Okay, so, oh my gosh. Okay, so I will leave a couple more minutes here. If you have any questions that you want to ask me, ask. I think I was thinking about spraying Axe on me, right? Ask me now, and then I will reveal what's going to be coming up. So if you have any questions, now is the time. While I'm like, hot. Oh, it's hotter than Jesus today. Okay, jeez. I mean, come on, God. Did you have to make it hot today? Jeez. Horrible. Okay, so since there are no questions, let's go into what I wanted to reveal. So for the Curvy Metalhead show, the beauty challenge I'm going to be doing is I am not going to shave for 2 weeks. Let that sink. Let that sink in. I am not going to shave for 2 weeks. Now, let me remind you, it is very hot. These next upcoming weeks are going to be really extremely hot. This is going to suck. But I will do it. It is a Metalhead Beauty Challenge. I will do it. So I'm not going to shave for 2 weeks. And then at the end of the 2 weeks, I will do something which is going to be new called What Did I Learn? Where I will be telling you what I learned from doing all these challenges and crazy stuff that I don't know why I do it. Really don't know why. Okay, so yeah, so I'm not going to shave for 2 weeks. I am going to look, forewarning, I will probably look like a creature. And I appreciate all criticism for me looking like a creature. And yeah, so you guys will get to see the real me. And yes, so I do a lot of shaving. Like shaving is what keeps me looking Kardashian realness. Okay, so yeah, I'm not gonna shave for 2 weeks. Yeah, that's gonna be good. So yeah, so I'll talk about that, and then every day I'll kind of be doing little mini kind of episodes, so that way you guys will get to experience how I feel. I've already put my shavers away today. I shaved actually last week to fully prepare for this, and yeah, so the next 2 weeks are going to probably be absolute hell. So. Oh man. Okay. So Bella asked, okay, what games are coming up? Okay, so for games coming up, I have a couple. For in between, because the game of the month is Onigiri, I wanted to start off because I specialize in what I like to call controller support games. So I like playing games with a controller. I have a whole bunch of different controllers that I play with. But I just noticed for me, I hate playing with the keyboard and mouse just because I get really bad like hand strain. It's weird. But yeah, so I will be playing Onigiri because that is a controller supported game. You just plug in your game controller. It'll ask you, do you want to play with your game controller? You just hit yes, and then you can play. Now, the other game that I will be playing, because finally I got my PS3 set up, is Mass Effect. All right, so I will be playing Mass Effect. I will start off with the first one. John Shepard is, mm, mm, he is so hot. I love him. So if I'm drooling while I'm playing, that's probably why. So yeah, for the month of June, I will be playing Mass Effect and Onigiri. Now, how could I not forget? Because I love my LGBT audience. Of course, happy Pride Month. For those of you who do not know, the month of June for us intellectuals is Pride Month. So I want to first off say I appreciate my LGBT, like I always say, alphabet soup audience. You guys are very important to this show and your experiences. And when you talk about your experiences, that really means a lot to me. I'm not LGBT myself, but I respect people for who they are. And that's something that's important. You know, in society, sometimes when you're different, like I said earlier, you get criticized for being different. So that's why I decided to play Mass Effect, because Mass Effect really is a game that is very LGBT, accepting. And I just thought that would be interesting. You can play male or female, or and you can have LGBT relationships in that game, which I think is really cool. And it's also very, very multicultural in the sense that, you can change skin tone, you can be with people of different cultures. And I really appreciate EA for doing that. They also did that too with a game that I played way back called Dragon Age. And I like games like that that really share the realism of our society. So I will be playing Onigiri, and I'll play the first Mass Effect. I will in the future play the second and third one, but I wanted to get through the first one because everyone was like, what is wrong with you? Why are you not playing Mass Effect? Okay, that's probably as black as I will ever be on this show. Pretty much. So I'll be playing Mass Effect. That'll be coming up. So another thing too, like I said on the Curvy Metalhead show, just like I'll say here on Sin TV Gaming, I will be doing one episode a week. It's not that I don't love you, because you know that I do with the deepest part of my horrible heart. I do. But it's just because I work real hard. I have a lot going on, so I can only do one episode a week. And that's what I'm going to be doing for both shows. Also, Curvy Metalhead show coming up today after I eat something. And I'll probably need to sleep, because this painting, as fat as I am, took a lot of energy out of me. And I am tired, okay? I'm the Grim Reaper, all right? I have to go sleep in my graveyard, all right? So that's what happens, okay? You start to get tired. See, I never understood when my mom told me that once, that, as you progress through life, you start to sleep more. She was right about that. Yeah, so I'll be playing Mass Effect, and I'll just be going back and forth. So I'll play Mass Effect one day, next day I play Onigiri. But I'm gonna do Mass Effect more in an interracial sense. So I'll have a lot of fun with, and me in commentary, I go in, right? So I'll be doing that. And then Bella says, I'm a joystick girl too. That's how I'm gonna start talking now. Hey, ha. Okay, see, this is what happens when I watch too many drag queens on TV. Then I start to become like that. Ridiculous. And I have to talk about the color of drag too. I'll be doing that on Curvy Metalhead show as well. So that'll be like a crossover episode. Because I just decided that both of my shows relate to each other. So there'll be some things that I'll be doing here. There'll be some things I'll do for Curvy Metal. Also, check me out on Facebook as well. You can check my about for that, because I'm not going to be one of these people where it's like, oh, check out all of my stuff. Check it out. I'm not going to be annoying like that. I totally am not. So you can go to the about and check that out. So I will be working on the Instagram for Sin TV Gaming, so you guys get to see some of the behind the scenes of that. And then my Facebook, I will be doing exclusive stuff only for Facebook. So if you want the real juicy stuff, then you want to check out Facebook. Here is going to be, it still be juicy, but I'm just going to keep it more medium rare. But if you really want, if you're the type that you really want to see me go in and talking about some of the stuff, like the library is really open, then I'll be doing that on Facebook. So, and then once in a while I may do it here, but I like doing it on Facebook, and so many of you really like that. And I'll do makeup looks and all that kind of stuff. So I do a little bit everything. So yeah, that's as ratchet as I get to. Like, and Ratchet and Classy is coming back now. That's funny because I remember I said earlier that I would never bring it back, but I decided, you know what, I'm going to bring back Ratchet or Classy, because there are so many Ratchet shows going on, so many ones that are Ratchet, but I want to talk about it in an intellectual way. It's important, and really get into it. So you know what I want to start. You know what I want to start off with? I'm going to start off with a show that, to me, we'll figure it out if we think it's ratchet, if it's Ratchet or Classy, is R&B Divas. Let's get into that show, because to me, the show had so much goodness, and it was actually, to me, going in the right direction, but there was just so much stuff that made it go bad. So to me, and after that, we'll get into the Sisterhood of Hip Hop. Now, for those of you who are not familiar, Sisterhood of Hip Hop is probably one of the most realist shows on, to me, on TV, that really talks about the experiences that women in hip hop go through. So I wanted to really get back into that. Now I know that, you know, usually I talk about rock and metal and that I would never get back into it, but let me explain why I'm getting back into it. I felt that if I want to talk about multiculturalism, I have to talk about it from all different cultures, and I have to talk about popular shows and the shows that are not so popular and how they relate. I'm also going to be talking about shows that are overseas as well. And let me tell you, if you really want to see messiness and craziness, watch reality TV in other countries. It will blow your mind what is out there. So there'll be some shows that I'll be talking about as well overseas. But I really hope you like the changes that are coming to Sin TV Gaming and Curvy Metalhead Show. It's going to be great. Now, for a Curvy Metalhead Show, I really want to do something really kind of interesting for, you know, for the show. So one thing I will clarify though, anything revolving around like alternative culture, so that's going to be on Curvy Metalhead Show. If you want the smart, intelligent news, Ratchet, Classy, all that kind of stuff, that's going to be here. Gaming is going to be here. I also will be doing interviews on both shows. I have so many interesting guests that I would love to be able to interview, because so many of you asked me why I stopped doing interviews, and it was just because I was sick and I was a mess. So I'm getting back into that, coming back strong. That's my workout today. I'm being a mess. Love the accent. Absolutely. Horrible. That's my horrible accent. Can you imagine if I talked like that all day? Hi, how you doing? Like, half of you would probably want for me to disappear. So yeah, and I'm like, my paint, my feet are all like sticky from the paint. I'm just a mess. But yeah, so that's what's going to be going on. So we're going to be doing Addams Family for sure. I'm almost done with the first season. I love Morticia's and Gomez's relationship. That is what I would want. I mean, what woman wouldn't want a man that just adores everything about them, right? And still be a man, right? And still be responsible and love his family. That's why I love the Addams Family. It's great. It's really great. So I'll be getting to that. Some other upcoming shows that I will be doing reviews on, which will take me forever. We will be, because so many of you wanted for me to talk about it, we're going to talk about Buffy the Vampire Slayer and also Angel. So we'll get into some of those shows too. We'll get into different decades as well. And I'll do that here on Sin TV Gaming, where I'll talk about shows from a certain time period. But you know, the other thing too that I will be doing too, I'm a really huge fan of historical TV shows. So I'll be getting into some of that too, talking about, you know, really good British shows and and shows from different parts, you know, mainly you know, I talk about shows from overseas or anything I find kind of interesting. And you know we're going to get into the Asian dramas, because there is a lot of just interesting news that comes from that mess. And African shows, because I know many of you have asked me, like, you know, like, Quita, you should be doing the African show. So I will get into the African movies. We'll talk about some of my favorite actors and stuff, because there are some really fine African, yes. So we'll get into that too. And how can I forget, you know, we got to start interracial masterpiece theater too, because I have to see, I've been looking for the movie. It's a really hard movie to find. It's this movie called Honky. Okay. So it's pretty much this black girl with this white guy and the tensions that occur with them being together. So I will be talking about that. So let's clarify, if you want the alternative culture stuff, so if you're into vampires, the horror, if you want to see me looking completely dead, then you want to watch that. If you're more into me, the other side of me, where I'm like this and I have no filter and I'm just really crazy, then you want to watch the Sin TV Gaming, because I go in. So yeah, we got R&B Divas. So, you know, I'm going to get started watching that, and I'll be talking about some of the things that I noticed about the show. So we'll start off with R&B Divas season 1. After that, we'll get into Sisterhood of Hip Hop season 1 and season 2. We'll talk about that, and I'll give you my opinions, how I feel about the show. But I'm not only going to just cover popular shows. I'll cover shows that are older too, just because that's the type of person that I am. I just like older stuff too as well. So with that, any questions? Any more questions? Any more questions? Any more questions? Any more questions? Okay, so I don't see any questions. Let's wrap up what I like to do, the conclusion, food for thought about how I feel about what I was talking about today earlier. So earlier, for those of you who didn't see me have a breakdown, no, I'm always having a breakdown, right? I talked about today that sometimes when you're a smart person, people just hate you. People just don't like you. Now, here's the reality. When you choose to put yourself in a higher level. And what I mean by this is not putting people down to make yourself feel better about yourself. It's not criticizing or making fun of people to make yourself feel better. It's you telling yourself that you can do better and you want to be successful and you want to be the best at what you do. And I don't see anything wrong with being the best at what you do. Because when you're good at what you do, you feel better about yourself. And when you appreciate yourself, and this is something that I've struggled with, self-confidence, you start to appreciate yourself more. Honestly, this is why I've lost my weight, was because I had to learn how to love myself in order to appreciate myself. And that love can't come from someone else. You've got to love yourself first. And when you're a smart person, I'm sorry. I mean, if you look at the greats, if you look at Prince, you look at Michael Jackson, you know, even the late and great, unfortunately, my heart goes out to Adam West's family. He was a brilliant man, very talented. And, you know, when you're smart and when you choose to do things like this, sometimes it can be a lonely life. And you have to love yourself and be comfortable being by yourself. And if you meet people who get you, that's cool. If you get, you know, if you have people that you're close to, if you have friends, you know, things like that, and family, which is the core of my existence too, that's important as well. Okay. So at the end of the day, when you choose to be intelligent, you're going to deal with criticism. You're going to deal with people who don't like you just because you're happy. You're going to deal with people who don't like you just because you know what you're talking about. But on top of that, you have to also be open to criticism. You know, sometimes, and this is something I've kind of learned with education, is sometimes you can let that education get to your head, and you can let your credentials get to your head, and then you think you're better than everybody. And you don't want to be like that. You know, I used to be like I used to be like that. You know, I used to be a very closed-minded person. I know that sounds shocking, but I really was. You know, I didn't like people. I still don't like people. Uh but you have to understand why someone is the way that they are. And when you understand that, sometimes that helps for that person to open up to you, but don't always expect it. You know, and you have to be comfortable being with yourself. Like for me, I can play video games all day. I don't need people. I'm cool, you know. But there are some people who just like being around people, and that's okay as well. But at the end of the day, when you choose to have a higher level of thinking, or if you choose to do something better, just be prepared for criticism and be prepared to be alone sometimes. And if you choose to be different, if you choose to have unique qualities or unique features or different hair color, you are going to deal with a lot of nonsense. Now, don't get me wrong, society has progressed a little bit in regards to alternative looks, but we're not there yet. Until I can get to the point where if I choose to have green and black hair and my boyfriend is Asian, or if my husband is, you know, from a different culture and people are not looking at me and like judging me, we still have a lot of work that needs to be done. So with that, I'm gonna get out of here. So I'm gonna get out of here. I've got paint all over. I gotta take you know, I have to take a shower. I gotta get fresh. No, I'm like, you know, I have to wash up. Oh my gosh. And not shaving for 2 weeks. This is gonna go really well. So you will definitely have to check out the mini episodes that I'm gonna be doing, so you guys will see how I'm feeling, and you guys will actually see me be pissed off, like really pissed off probably, because I just hate being kind of hairy like that. It's just, it's not, especially when it's hot and it like sticks to your clothes. Yeah. And then also, how, before I go, I gotta talk about 50 Shades of Grey, right? Briefly. I decided, you know what, the 50 Shades of Grey soundtrack was good, but it was boring. It was kind of boring. So what I decided to do is, what if 50 Shades of Grey had an R&B soundtrack? And what if 50 Shades of Grey was a rock soundtrack? So for the first crossover episode, for Sin TV Gaming, I'm going to show you my picks of songs that would be perfect for 50 Shades of Grey if it was an R&B soundtrack. And then if you want to see the more rock kind of stuff, then if you want to see if 50 Shades of Grey was a rock soundtrack, you will not believe my selections that would be for 50 Shades of Grey if it was a rock soundtrack. So that's going to be interesting as well. So with that, I hope you guys enjoy your day. I'm going to go back to my graveyard here and take a nap. And but like I always say, remember to get smart and stay informed. I'm going to get out.